Adib here from Sense Society. I have a comparison for you where we're going to compare Bujairami's Emperor to Absolu Aventus by Creed. The atomizer check on the Bujairami first. That's a really fine spray. Absolu Aventus is mostly like a very spicy version of Creed's Aventus. I'm not a very big fan of this. I really like my Aventus, as you can see behind me. I have about 3 bottles of Aventus, and I definitely prefer that one to the Absolu Aventus. In comparison to both of these, I would say in the opening, Emperor is a lot more fruity, tart. It has that note of grapefruit, pineapple, and I could say blackcurrant with some ginger and pepper coming across as well. So it's a little spicy and very fruity and tart. And when it comes to the opening of Absolute Aventus, this one is a lot more balanced. It has more woodiness in it, and uh, that spiciness is still there, but the fruits aren't that tarty or like that strong and sweet in the Absolute Aventus as much as it is in Emperor. So there is a slight difference in the opening. I would say Emperor has a very appealing opening, smacks you right in the face, whereas this one is a lot more subtle, feels a lot more mature as well. The blending of notes in Absolute Aventus is slightly better, where all the notes come across very coherent and like they're blended very well. And in Emperor, I can actually pick out some of the individual notes as well. I feel like Emperor is a lot more projecting compared to this, but that might also be because the sprayer on this is really tiny. As we get into the mid notes, I've noticed Emperor stays true to its opening and it doesn't have much development in the mid there. Whereas with Absolute Aventus, it changes quite a bit. So it starts losing some of that fruitiness, and you tend to get more of that pepperiness and the ginger, along with some woods coming across. It's still a lot more spicy compared to Emperor, but it's also very subdued and balanced. Whereas with Emperor, the fruits are still there, very tart, very fresh. I would say the smells more like a blend between Aventus and Absolute Aventus because I get more fruitiness from this one than I do with this. This smells a lot more grown up, and Emperor is a lot younger. I get some weird greeniness in Emperor as well. It doesn't turn me off in any way, but it's a lot more green compared to Absolute Aventus. As we go into the dry down, I've noticed that both of them dry down very similar to each other. This takes a lot longer to get to the dry down than Absolute Aventus does. After like 3 hours, they smell pretty similar to each other. Another thing I've noticed in the dry down is Emperor is a lot more fruity still compared to Absolute Aventus. This one dries down a little more dark with that vetiver coming across as well. Emperor is like a slightly fruitier version of Absolute Aventus. Say they're about 80% similar in the dry down. In terms of projection and longevity, I've found out that both of them last pretty much the same, but I've noticed more projection on the Emperor. Both of them last about 7 to 8 hours on my skin, and they get pretty light towards the end. Emperor projects a lot more in the first 2 3 hours, and this one is not projecting as well, but I could basically smell them around that 7 to 8 hour mark. This doesn't break the bank at all. It's just $45 for like 100 ml, whereas you'll be paying about $500 for 100 ml of the Creed. I would go with the Emperor. It's a lot more fruity and easy to wear. I've been wearing this to the gym for the past 2 days. So yeah, that's Emperor for you compared to Absolute Aventus. Stay tuned for more content coming your way. See ya.